Reform UK's new MPs last year striding into Parliament. For a party riding high on its polling figures, such a schism as this at the very top presents a deeply uncomfortable moment.
Conference.
The party yesterday said it had suspended its MP Rupert Lowe and referred him to the police. Reform alleged Lowe had made threats of physical violence against the party chairman. The party said it had also appointed a lawyer to investigate complaints about serious bullying from two women who worked in Mr Lowe's offices. Lowe, the MP for Great Yarmouth, hit back, denying the allegations and claimed he was being knifed in the back. Then this morning, it descended further into open warfare. Lee Anderson, the party's chief whip, posted on X, "I have a great deal of respect for Rupert Lowe, but his unwillingness to cooperate in an investigation into his behaviour has meant the parliamentary party cannot function effectively whilst Rupert is a Reform UK MP." To which Lowe then replied, "Lee, what you have said is simply not true. Launching this vindictive assault before an investigation has even started is, quite frankly, pathetic." In Great Yarmouth today, events surrounding their MP hadn't gone unnoticed.
He's lost the whip, apparently, but I'm sure they'll rally round and carry on. That happens with every party.
I'm just disappointed because, I really think that the country needs reform, and I want them just to keep it together because obviously I think, all the other parties like Conservative Labour, they're just ready to tear them apart given any opportunity, and I don't want to see that happen, to be fair.
Tensions emerged back in January when Elon Musk said it was time for Nigel Farage to surrender Reform's leadership, apparently then endorsing Rupert Lowe as a possible successor. Then Lowe, in a newspaper article earlier this week, labelled Reform a protest party led by the Messiah, prompting this angry response.
If I've got a following out there, that's a good thing. If I hadn't, we wouldn't have won any seats in Parliament at all on the 4th of July.
Including Great Yarmouth, I presume you put in that.
There wouldn't have been a cat's chance in hell, would there? Come on, be honest about it.
This was the image Nigel Farage perhaps wanted instead, as a talking point this weekend. 4 Powys County councillors from Mid Wales, previously Tories and Independents, unveiled yesterday as defecting to Reform UK. One of them today urged both sides to find a way in private to end the dispute.
There is infighting, but at the moment it's just that, it's quite isolated, although it's a big infighting issue with 2 of the biggest members or elected MPs. Which is why there's a lot of focus on it.
This is right at the heart of the leadership of the party, isn't it?
Of course it is, and that's why I'm confident that they recognise that they need to sort it out pretty damn quick. Because
and if they don't?
Well, if they don't, it's difficult to work out where they're going to go from here, really. The last thing we want to see is any split or anything like that, and I'm pretty confident that we won't get to that. They must recognise that this has got to be sorted out pretty damn soon too.
It'll become clear soon enough what impact, if any, this has on Reform's healthy poll ratings of late. Rupert Lowe is not short of supporters within the party and not shy of speaking his mind. This evening, pointedly writing on X, "If you want real loyalty, get a dog."
Andy Davis there. Well, earlier I spoke to Gawain Towler, long-standing head of press for Reform, who was replaced last year. He's still a party member and campaigns for them. So I asked him, how would you spin this?
Famously, if wanted to get from A to B, well, I wouldn't start here. But it's not ideal, of course. I think the phrase is suboptimal. But what
which means catastrophic.
No, suboptimal. However, there are worse things at sea, and all parties have falling out and things of that sort. It is not unusual in that sense. But of course, we would prefer this not to be the case. But there are questions that have been raised, and one hopes they can be answered in a slightly less tell it to Twitter way.
Yes,
I do find
your very demeanour. It's something that you're saying this is suboptimal. It's not particularly serious. You're smiling and laughing about it. Underneath this, there are serious allegations about women in the office of Rupert Lowe. This isn't the way to deal with this.
That's absolutely awful, and that I believe the HR processes and the parliamentary process are being gone through. That's the point. It is not a party matter. It's actually because they're employed as parliamentary staff. The HR stuff goes through Parliament, not the party. That's why. So I think there's a crossed wire. That's what I mean by the crossed wire. It is obviously the party are concerned that there are these allegations made, but the processes are not party processes. They have to go through Parliament because they're parliamentary employees.
A process with which Mr. Lowe appears and is alleged to be not cooperating by Reform themselves. They say
we
that.
will see. We will see. I hear differing accounts of that. But as I say, this is possibly best not discussed by individual involved on Twitter, but best discussed sitting down around a cup of coffee or a glass of wine.
Would you at least agree this whole episode shows that the party's attempts to professionalise have got some considerable way to go?
Well, in many ways you might say that, but I would say that the professionalisation isn't just the management of one MP. It's not the management of one MP. The professionalisation is the growth of this structure across the country. It's the ability of branches to raise money and have bank accounts and do events. As I say, last night I was speaking to 250 at a golf club outside Norwich. A couple of weeks ago, I was in Shropshire doing the same. I'm going to be in Worcester. I'm going to in Wrexham. These things are happening all over the country. And that is the professionalisation. That is the growth. That is the kernel. And what the people at the top sometimes forget, it's not just about 5 members of Parliament. It's about the 210,000 members who've joined us and the millions who see us as a chance to change British politics for the better. And it is unedifying seeing some of the senior figures taking lumps out of it. Of course it is. But I would like to remind you, there have been spats in the past in all parties, and parties survive. Farage himself has been involved in spats in the past and has always come back stronger. So I do not think it's a doom loop in any way at all. Quite the opposite. It is not. But when you are rapidly changing from what was essentially Morrison's, from a corner shop into something like Morrison's, then there are going to be trips along the way. Noses are going to be put out of joint. Mistakes will be made as you grow so fast, but the caterpillar to become the butterfly has to go through that breaking pooper stage.
Gavin Towler, thanks very much indeed.
Thank you.